right, everyone, welcome back. We are going to move on to multiplying decimals, but first, as always, we're going to do a little bit of a review. So I've got two subtraction problems with decimals here for you. Go ahead and pause the video and solve those, and we'll go through them together in a minute. Okay, going to our answers. For number 1, you should have gotten 239.836. You had to do some borrowing from multiple zeros in a row, so hopefully you remembered the rules for that. And then for number 2, you should have gotten 0.271. All right, we are going to move on to multiplying decimals. All right, sorry. Okay. So for multiplying decimals, there is no need to line up the decimal, okay? For adding and subtracting, yes, you need to line up the decimal. But for multiplying, you do not need to line them up. You just need to make sure your numbers are flush to the right, just as if you were multiplying whole numbers, okay? It's the same thing. So I have 5 problems here for you. If you want to go ahead and pause and you can write these out, make sure you give yourself some room underneath each problem, and then we'll go through and start solving them. Okay, for number 1, this process is almost the same as it is for multiplying whole numbers. The decimal, I do not want you to worry about it right now. We're going to worry about this decimal point at the very end. So go ahead and solve this problem just as though the decimals weren't there, like you were doing regular whole numbers, okay? I'll do it with you. So hopefully you ended up with 648. Now, here's how we figure out where the decimal is going to go. What you're going to do is you are going to count the number of spaces to the right of the decimal in each of these numbers. So for example, I have 1 here, I have 1 here, and I have 1 here. So we have 1, 2, 3. So 3 places. Right now in our answer, this is a whole number. So the decimal is at the end of our number. This tells me how many times I am going to move my decimal to the left. So we counted 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to move my decimal 3 times. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3. So my answer is going to be 0.648. Now, you may think, well, I had a large number here and I multiplied it by this number. How could it get so small? Because this is now less than 1, right? When you multiply a number like this by a very small number, we're multiplying this by 200ths, the number is going to get significantly smaller, okay? So don't freak out about, your answer, but as long as you do these steps all right, you're going to be just fine, okay? Let's move on to number 2. So go ahead and start working the problem just as though the decimal wasn't even there. Remember, with this digit, our decimal is right here. Okay, so now we're already done. Go ahead and count your decimal places to the right of your decimal point. Should only be 3 again. So our decimal point is right here in our number. We're going to move our decimal place 1, 2, 3 times to the left. So our final answer is going to be 0.072. Okay? All right, moving on. Go ahead and start working this one on your own, just like you would with regular whole numbers, and we'll meet up at the end. Make sure you take your time with this one. You've got lots of digits here. Okay, so you should have ended up with 46,512. Go ahead and count your decimal places. I see 4. So we're going to move our decimal from all the way on the right here, 4 places to the left. So you should have ended up with 4.6512. All right, go ahead and do these next two on your own, and then we'll meet back up and go through them together. All right, everybody, so here are the two problems that you were to do on your own. I know it looks kind of messy, but I promise it's the right answer. So this answer should have been 60.3072. And then this answer should have been 3.654. So if you didn't get these numbers, go ahead and just go back and look at your individual lines and see if you can find where you made a mistake. It was probably just a silly computational error. I know it can be frustrating when your answer doesn't match the correct answer, but remember, be patient with yourself. This is a 5th grade concept that you're doing right now. So you haven't done it for a long time, but just stick with it, keep the faith, and I promise it will get easier and easier as we go. All right, oops, sorry, my dogs are barking. All right, guys, so the next video is going to be dividing decimals, and I'll see you when we go to the next video. All right, bye.